So I was born in Portland, Maine, July 12, 1946. I'm 77 as of the moment, and Mercy Hospital's just about a couple of miles away. And as I remember, we first moved to this complex called St. Barnabas Apartments, which is right across the street from Woodford's Congregational Church on Woodford Street, and that's why we, for many years, went to Woodford's Congregational Church. So we were here until I was about two years old, and then we moved to the next place.
Do you remember any of it at 2?
I don't remember any of it. All I remember is that somewhere out there is a photograph of me in a pedal Jeep, little red pedal Jeep, right along this pathway here. That's about it.
What kind of church was it?
What kind of what was it?
Church was it?
Right, it's right over there. Woodford's Congregational Church.
What's the denomination?
Congregational.
Oh, really?
Oh, Protestant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a Congregational Church. Beautiful church. Hasn't changed at all. Great neighborhood.
How long did your parents live here before you were born?
My father, when he came back from the war, they lived on Back Cove. There's it's an apartment complex between Forest Avenue and Back Bay, Baxter Boulevard, and they lived there probably for about a year. I was not born then.
So your dad lived in Portland, went to the war, came back, lived at Back Bay, then moved here.
Yes, actually they both lived. My mother and her parents lived on Munjoy Hill on North Street, corner of North Street and I think Cumberland Avenue, right at the top. Munjoy Hill was just a beautiful place then, according to my mother. It had flower boxes in all the windows, and her father was a musician. He played the flute and piccolo, and he would walk around the neighborhood playing that, and the kids would follow him. Loved to create parades. My mother and her sister, Aunt Jean, my mother played the flute and piccolo. Aunt Jean had perfect pitch. She played the violin. So they were on Munjoy Hill. It was a great neighborhood to grow up. My father was not sure where he was living, but it had to be close to Portland High School because that's where they met. All right. So we were in St. Barnabas Apartments. Around 2, we moved to the 3rd floor of this 28 James Street. Okay, now what's interesting about it is this has been like stripped. It's sterile. If I can find a picture. The 1st floor had a huge porch that was just beautiful, shingled, and above that was the 2nd floor porch. It just beautiful. 3rd floor did not have it. The backyard here was always terrible, absolutely terrible. So they've fixed this up now. You see the house behind the garage didn't exist. It was rough. It was like Baxter's Woods. So it was a good place to play cowboys and Indians coming right out. So let me take you around here. There was no sidewalk here, just nothing. And then these trees are new. But here, there was a porch behind this. 3 porches. Get up here. Here. A porch on the 2nd. I don't think there's a porch on the 3rd. We lived on the 3rd. And we would hang the wash out there. It had one of these clothes things, and we'd put them out there and go out there.
Were any of these houses here?
This house did not exist.
But the one to the left.
Did. Yeah. This house didn't exist. This David Sturdivant. This didn't exist. So it's been. I can't say it's been built up, but this was all wooded land. Great street, and as you can see, almost at the top of the hill.
That's me, Margaret.
Yep, that's me, Mark. And what we used to do, which was fabulous, the city was amazing. In the winter, this stayed, you know, there'd be snow on the street because the city didn't clear that much. And we'd go up to the top of that hill and we would have our sleds. And we would go like this, and then you hopped on your sled and you came. This is like an incredible hill. Of course it isn't, but at our age, back then we said, wow, and we would fly and we'd get down to just where that telephone pole is, and the city had spread dirt, sand, across the street with a barricade, so you could not drive up.
Oh, for you guys?
For us.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you'd come in and you go, yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful.
When cars came up here, because they didn't have the barricades there, what we would do is hide behind the telephone poles to the extent they were there, and we'd come out, because the cars would see these kids in the street. They'd slow down, and we would get behind and hold onto the bumper.
Wow.
And get a ride down. So that our winter was just.
So you were here your whole high school. You were 2 to 18.
No,
Oh.
here I was, because we're going to go to the next place.
Oh, okay.
Was here till until junior high school on the 3rd floor. I'm going to skip ahead. The next house we're going to go to, my mother was ill. She had a serious thyroid condition. I'm not sure why we moved. They probably told me, my sister and I, and that's where we're going to go.
Maybe the 3rd floor? Was it she couldn't walk up?
I think my father worked, but he worked at nights. Somehow, I think it was a monetary thing. He
Yeah.
had some medical expenses, and so they said, we'll live with her parents. So that's what we did. But
So hold on, what grade and year did you move away from this?
it would have been the 7th grade
Okay.
from the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Went to where we're going next for 1 school year. Came right back, 2nd floor.
Ah.
So we were on the 3rd floor until I was about the 7th grade. 2nd floor until I graduated from high school. I always look at this yard, I feel very bad. Freddie Olson, good friend of mine. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but we were playing, we were pretend fighting.
Here, let's get close to it. Might as well.
And again, this didn't exist. This was all grassy. So it was all here. So Freddie and I were just kidding, and I said to myself, I wonder what it's like to hit somebody in the face. So I went, boom. And he cried, and he ran down to his house, which is right down there, and I felt so badly, because it was I just wanted to see what it was like to hit somebody in the face. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So that's Freddie. So James Street, the corner of James and Clinton. Great neighborhood. Great neighborhood. Yeah.
Kids all over the place?
What's that?
There are a lot of kids your age all over the
A
place?
lot of kids, all the same age. They would play when I was in, I think it must have been the 8th grade that we left, because kids would play baseball here. I'll show you what I would do. No, I think it was the 7th grade. We came back second. My bedroom, so you can hear me. My bedroom window was that 2nd floor, that first window.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was such a grind.
He grew up here long ago.
Grew up here.
As a kid, we're just making a documentary.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
77. I grew up here. How long have you been here?
probably like 2 months.
Let me tell you
No,
what the
like
high.
4 months.
Let me tell you what the place was like. First of all, there were 2 beautiful shingled porches, the whole length
Wow.
on there. I mean, you would come out and it was just, you could live out there, first and second. In the back there were porches, but they were more porches for hanging out clothes to dry.
Okay.
The house there never existed. It was Baxter's Woods. This place, this area here, was a mess.
Really?
Oh, it was dirt and the garage was is it a garage now? Or?
It's a shed.
Shed, okay.
It is. Yeah.
Was it? Okay. It was a 3-car garage that always about ready to collapse. So, and the neighborhood, as you probably know, is fantastic, even still.
Yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, beautiful neighborhood. And when I grew up, I was here till about 8th or 9th grade, high school. Always kids.
Was it this whole house or was it apartments?
It was always apartments.
Okay.
And it was really well kept. I don't believe it, I think it was all shingles. We lived on the 3rd floor for a while and moved down to the 2nd, so it was always apartments, yeah. Which one are you in?
I'm on the 3rd floor. They kind of made it all into one big house though.
Oh, it's all one house now. Wow.
It's a sober house.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh, I
Great.
sober house.
That's great.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it.
Right? Yeah.
I love the way, where I live now, we have several of those too.
Oh, wow,
And
yeah.
you never know, and I think that's wonderful, rather than, let's put them off at East Skish, so.
Oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened to us, and there's so much positive energy in there. We do
That's
like
great.
prayer and meditation in the 1st floor every day. It's a really,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Well, good to
they're-
see you.
they're
Good,
doing
good.
things
Keep it up.
here.
So, we were 3rd floor, then we went someplace which we're going to show you, came back 2nd floor, stayed on the 2nd floor till about my senior year in high school. My father hadn't owned a house then, and he wanted to. The broker lived kind of across the street there on Clinton Street, and she said, don't buy it, it's a piece of junk. He bought it, put a lot of effort into it. He was a plumber, electrician, he could do anything. And I helped him. That side yard was filled with rocks, just totally filled with rocks. And I can remember spending a whole summer digging that up. So this was, and still is, actually Auntie Lynn owns it. My 2-car garage, 122. It could have been a 2-unit, but he converted it to 1. It's now a 2-unit. Lynn's kids lived there. So he lived there from really about, I guess, my 11th, no, it would have been end of last year of junior high school, so I would have been in the 9th grade. I know that because up the street, can't see it here, but at the end of the street just to the right is Lincoln Junior High School. And when I was asked, or I agreed to play the sousaphone, basically at the end of the street, I could not carry the sousaphone from there to this house without stopping 3 or 4 times. It was dreadful. It was pure hell. It was 40 pounds of metal on my left shoulder, which still, as you can probably see, is gigantic. So we were here from about the 9th grade till I graduated from high school and went away. My parents lived there for a long time. And then when my father retired, he always wanted to go to Florida, just conveniently. My sister had bought a house. They went down to Florida. They rented there. Didn't work out. 2 years. Came back, and they lived a place actually just about 4 or 5 blocks from here. So this neighborhood has been kind of this has kind of been in my neighborhood since St. Barnabas apartment until I really, it seems like forever. It's still a great neighborhood. This is called Deering Center, and Deering Center nowadays, 2023, is a very hot place to live. Very walkable. So, and across the street, as you can see, is Baxter's Woods, which I still am haunted by the memory of almost burning it down. I was in the middle of the woods.
Oh, let's go to it.
I'll show. So I got a little story to tell, and it's like it happened yesterday. It really is. I remember it. So I came into the woods, and somehow I had one of these newfangled gasoline-powered model airplanes. Not the fancy ones like a drone, but you'd put it down and connect it with a long wire, and you'd start it up, and you'd go around like this. This is how it would fly over like this, and go up and down. So I thought that was great. I was over in the field by myself. So I was doing that. I thought, this is great. All right, this is getting boring. So I loaded up, and I started walking back. And I saw this great tree, and not sure what possessed me, but I thought, you know, might be nice to start a little fire right here. Just a little fire, nothing big. I'm not a pyromaniac. I've never lit a fire before then, and I can barely light a fire in the fireplace. But I just thought that'd be kind of cool. So I got down, and I got some sticks, and did that. And I had a match, Lord knows how, and I lit the match, and I had the can, the gasoline, and you know, there wasn't much of a fire. So I said, you know what I gotta do? I'm gonna add some fuel to this fire. So I squeezed the metal can, and it shot down like that. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. And my hand got hot, and the can got hot. I said, oh my God. The fire went up, and now it's burning in the can. I said, oh no. So I threw that down, and I got down like, there's no flame. There's no flame. So I got down like this. I said, where's the fire? And I looked for the heat rising. I said, over there. I said, oh God, I'm burning down Baxter's Woods.
Oh, so there's no flame. You're stomping out smoke, kind of.
It wasn't even smoke.
Oh.
It was just heat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fire.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was the fuel that was burning. Finally, I got it. And then I reported myself to the police department. No, I didn't. I then walked all around and kept almost crawling just to make sure that I could,
So I don't get how there's heat but no fire.
There was just burning fuel. Burning fuel.
But wouldn't that create fire?
There was fire.
Oh, okay. I thought
that was
I didn't
fire, but you couldn't see the flames.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, couldn't see the flames. So I get down on the ground. At least I was smart, dumb enough to say, well, it's burning.
Yeah, yeah.
Look to see where the heat is rising. And that did it. Oh, Lordy be. I'm really sorry. Glad you're still here. A great tree. Just up from that tree, and long before I almost set the whole place ablaze, my mother accidentally suffocated a goldfish that we had in just a simple bowl. I don't know if he even had anything in the bowl of rocks or something. She was ironing, and she put the shirt down and fell over the cover. And then after a while we looked, no oxygen. So I was very upset. First pet I ever had. And so my father got a little matchbox, a little stick matchbox, 2 toothpicks fashioned into a cross. I got my buddies that said, let's go berry. It wasn't Goldie, but it could have been. So we walked into the Baxter's Woods, single file.
How many people?
Probably about 5 or 6 kids my age, and my father was
How
there.
old were you?
I was probably about 6 or 7. And we filed, and I wanted to know always where the goldfish was buried. Didn't want to forget him or her or it. So this was here. I doubt he's still there now, but right here. Can you see him? No.
How deep?
Oh, gosh, I'm going to say at least 3 inches. Yeah, we had to protect them from animals. So that's it. It's just, I think of him fondly.
There's the tree.
And there's a tree. I think of the tree fondly now because it's still here. I'm very lucky.
Baxter Woods, was this where you mostly went, or you just go everywhere?
This is pretty much where we played.
Just yeah, because you're so close to your home.
Yeah, right. See the field there? That wasn't there. We would play football. I mean, we'd play football, but we'd mostly play baseball there. And just behind that tree was a fence, and it was the nunnery. And the home run was to be able to hit it over the fence. But if you hit it over the fence, you had to get it because the nuns would come chasing after you. Get out of here, you boys! Get out of here! But it was a very exciting game. Yeah, this is where we hung out, and
What'd you guys do? Just kid stuff? Do sticks or something?
Say again?
What'd you guys do? Just played?
We would, down this way, we would catch pollywogs and a pond. A lot of cowboys and Indians. A lot of cowboys and Indians. Big.
Those were the days, yeah.
Yeah. Light fires? No, we didn't. No, that was just me. Kind of mostly it was cowboys and Indians sitting around. Yeah.
Did you ever party in here in high school? Was this a party zone?
I can almost show you where Dickie and Brazier and I had a Schlitz beer down here, and we buried the bottles. We still wonder where. So my first beer was here in Baxter's Woods with Dickie Brazier, Schlitz, long neck.
Schlitz.
It's terrible beer. Right down there. Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 17.
Is it close? How far is it down?
Say again?
How far is it down?
The best way to find it is to go outside, because it was just off the street.
Okay.
I can almost show you where it was.
You came here every day?
Just about.
I bet.
Yeah.
Pretty great place.
Because it was cool, and as I say, it was. This looks like you can see a distance. It really was more. It was a denser forest, denser.
Yeah, I bet safety's sake they kind of cuts them down.
Yeah. Like you look here, this you couldn't see here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and the trail, the path. I remember the path was at least half the width of this. If you had someone coming the other way, you had to kind of step off the path.
It's a great. I know there's a way to enter near the graveyard. I remember there's a side street. I remember I just was delivering food, pulled off, and I was like, what? And there's a path on really random.
Yep. There's the evergreen pathway to get in, and down here on Forest Avenue you can get in. So this is now heavily used dog walkers, and there's always a little bit of a battle. And I think the dog walkers have lost. Now you have to be on a leash at certain dates. But other people loved it because the dogs could be off leash. So yeah, so this was, it was almost, the entryway was not marked. It didn't say, Baxter's Woods Park or anything like that. But it was, good fun. Really spent, I was going to say, with the exception of 1 year, which I'll show you, all my formative years, although I'm still being formed, up until through high school, really in this neighborhood. I'm very, very lucky. I'll show you where, I can't show you where the Schlitz beer is, but I can point. So see where that fire hydrant is? Okay, see that fire hydrant? Go down to the fire hydrant and you see the first big tree on the left. We didn't hide behind it. We were about 10 feet in.
Okay.
And sat down and
How'd you guys get it?
that's how I was just trying to think. Dickie Brazier was he's it still is, he's a great guy, but he had connections. So I think I think he just said, hey, how's about I can see it. How's about getting a 6-pack? Well, so we got a 6-pack of Schlitz in a dark bottle, long neck. And I think we finished 2 and we had it. And we buried the rest along with the bottles. A waste of good beer. Henry Wadford's Longfellow School. Great school. We're only about a 10-minute walk from that Hartley Street, from the James Street place. And Longfellow School, when I first went to Longfellow School, it was a wooden building just about 50 yards up. Then I went there for a year. This was built, great school. I was in a play in the 3rd grade. My voice was just as low then as it is now. And I was the narrator. It was the old man and something. And I was the narrator, because I had the voice. And many good years here. I enjoyed this. After here, we then went up to Lincoln Junior High School. Again, about a 5-minute walk from my house on Hartley Street. Just walk up 10 doors. That was Lincoln Junior. In Lincoln Junior, I for some reason got tasked or agreed to be the DJ. So I would spin records at these Friday night monthly dances. I had my own collection of 45 RPMs, and I would sit on the stage while everybody else was dancing, and I seemed to get a kick out of spinning records. The first 45 I bought was Come Softly to Me by the So-and-Sos. We'll Google it. Something like that. And I loved being a DJ. Also ran into a guy named Bill somebody who, long story there, but I'll keep it short. We ended up, every Friday, we would publicize the Lincoln Gazette, and I would write a script, and we would go to the principal's office first thing Friday morning. We would do a little act. Hey, Bill, what do you think? What happened last week? I don't know. Let's go check at the Lincoln Gazette, and we'd do jokes. And so I was kind of a weird guy, but and that's where I ran for my first public office as president of student council. And from then on, as Roy Walker says, I believe him, but I never kept prices. That was my first election, and I never lost another election after that. So it was kind of fun. I had trouble saying the word particularly, so I practiced it at home. My speech was all written on a 3x5 card. And when I got to that word, I was very nervous. And I looked at it and I said, and I would particularly enjoy. And everybody started laughing, thinking I was kidding. So I said, oh, this is good. I like making people laugh. So at Lincoln Junior, I was, let's see, one year I was best dressed. The other year I was class clown. You know, so high school, oh God, raging hormones in Lincoln, but in...
Let's go. We're so close.
Want me to keep talking?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I remember this sidewalk in a strange way. So I guess you could say, I don't mind saying it, I was a pretty popular guy at Lincoln Junior because I was the DJ and I was the voice every Friday morning with Bill, publicizing the Lincoln newspaper. So,
There, let's get off this. The traffic's too much. It's not going to pick up your...
okay.
Let's just take this right.
Take the right?
Yeah, and then take a left.
Take a right here?
Yeah. Yeah, keep going. I'm just...
Keep talking?
Yeah.
So, also there's, by the way, in the 4th grade, there is a, behind that, there's a playground. And my buddy, I had snapjacks with leather sole shoes. And what we used to do would have 3 of us. One person would hold this hand, the other person would hold this hand, and would run and drag the person. Well, one day they dragged me, and I'd be sliding like this. It was great fun. Went past Mr. Coyne and his students who were all lined up ready to go in. And I remember this. He pointed to them, he pointed to me as I went by. If you can believe this, he said, "There goes the scum of the earth." Talk about words.
Not very kind.
tell you another little story about this door. This is not the main entrance to Deering. It's the entrance into the auditorium stage. And I was at Longfellow, and it was the end of the day, and you know, I could walk to and from school myself, but I saw a whole bunch of people walking in here, whole bunch. So I walked out, instead of turning left and walked out, I turned to the right. I said, what's going in here? So I came down, I walked in, people were still walking in. So I surrounded by people, opened the door, kept right on walking in. Turns out people were paying, but I was so short they couldn't see me. I just kept walking through the crowd. Oh, there's a children's theater. I said, well, this is kind of fun. So I sat down, and I think I was there for about an hour and a half. Meanwhile, my mother's going nuts. And they start dragging the pawns at Evergreen Cemetery, thinking I've drowned. They don't know where I am. Play's over, turn around, walk home. Hi.
You want to go to the entrance?
We'll go to the entrance. So Deering High School. Back in the day, as they say, if you go in here, back in the day, great school. So was Portland. They were pretty equal in terms of athletics and academics. It was pretty much like this. Pretty much like this. Hasn't changed much. Didn't have these cables, but pretty much the same thing. Main entrance. Yeah. Again, could walk to and from. So here's a story that was kind of amazing for me. So I came here in 9th grade. It was 3 years at Deering. 3 at Lincoln, 3 at Deering. And about the 8th grade, my father told me I was going to help him Sunday mornings deliver 450 Maine Sunday telegrams, which meant I had to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. Actually, he told me that just before I started the 9th grade. So there was a Saturday night, the school had just started, and it was the first Saturday night dance. We had dances a lot. I wasn't the DJ anymore. So I came and I went in and knew a lot of people, had a good time, and I looked at, I said, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. You know, the dance had really just started at 8. And I can remember saying, I'm not going to be able to do anything here. I'm not going to, you know, this is so totally different from my successful time at Lincoln. So I remember just walking out that door, walking through those gates right there, turning left, and for some reason I said, I'm going to show them. I'm going to make my mark here. I'm not going to just disappear. And I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them. And it turned out I developed a way that I could stay up till about 11 or 12, and I'd sleep for just an hour. And my father would come and wake me up. We'd deliver 450 papers in Cape Elizabeth, Gorham, Westbrook, and then he'd drop me off. He would go to Miss Portman Diner, have breakfast about 6 o'clock. He would drop me off at Roy's Shoe Shop. I'd pick up my 55 papers, and I'd deliver my papers by myself. So it was a long day, but it sort of toughened me up. And then I came here, and then for some reason I just started running for this, that, the other thing. So I was, name it, honestly, name it, I was here. President, captain, mayor, whatever. And I'm not sure why I did that. I do have an idea why I did that, but that's for another story. So this was Deering High School. 41, there it goes. So this is 41 Johansson Street. Johansson Street, pretty much a dead end. You go up here, you hit Washington Avenue, a few blocks down from the bridge, the old B&M. And it was at some point in junior high school that we left the third floor of the James Street house and we moved here to where my mother's father and mother lived. And we stayed here for a school year. I'm not sure why. I know my mother was pretty ill with some, always called a thyroid condition. Don't know. But I never asked back then, but I suspect I was 8th grade maybe. No, 7th grade. It was 3 years in junior high school, so I think I was in the middle, so I was probably 7th grade. And we lived up on the 3rd floor, very, very small place, very cramped. I was pretty lonely, didn't know anybody, and I would still, up to a little point, up to a point, would walk across, this is Payson Park, all the way to Lincoln. So I think it was about 3 miles back and forth. And wasn't a good time in my life. And there's a garage there, and I can remember my father put up on the back of the garage a basketball net, and I would just that's how I passed my days, was just throwing hoops. And down in the basement I had a little BB gun in the basement, and I'd light a candle and I'd get the BB gun and I'd see if I could shoot out the light. That was pretty good, I would do that. So that's how this was. It's just, so we were here for, just say maybe a school year. It was abysmal, frankly. But there were worse things. So, but Miss Feehan, one time, the guidance counselor at Lincoln, found out that I was walking this distance, and she said, look, I just live over in this neighborhood way up behind there. I'll give you a ride. So I would walk up the end of the street in the morning, right over there, and just pretty much cross that street, stand there. This fan would come by, take me. I'm sure we had great conversations. She was very nice, but I don't remember any of them. And then that was in the winter, and then I got so I could walk, and I would meet friends on my way, and I'd have this little station. I would walk from here over to Dick Mitchell's, and we'd go to the Tommy Tangways, and so it's a lot of walking. So I was glad to get back. When something happened, her condition, my mother's condition, must have gotten better, and we moved back, and lo and behold, the 2nd floor of James Street was open. So that's what we did.
You must have been really excited.
Very excited to be back in the neighborhood. All right, so this is when we came back to Portland, or when I came back, your mother moved to Portland, came to 89 Neal Street, which is 2 stories, kind of small. It was just Anna and I and your mother were here. I should fill in that what happened before here. There was places in Washington, D.C. we lived. We lived on East Capitol Street, 6 blocks behind the Capitol, absolutely fantastic. Then a few years later, we moved to Constitution Avenue, kind of almost right next to the Supreme Court. Just amazing places, dirt cheap. Then when we came, this was rental. And so we stayed here. And then Tom and Diana Allen, friends, lived down the way in a row of 8 brick row houses, and they said, you know, we know you like this, but these places are great, cheaper rent. Why don't you get on the waiting list for renting there? We said, okay. So then the landlord, Harry Sawyer, said, okay, everybody, time to get out. I want to convert them to condominiums. You can either buy a condominium or you have to move. He said in a nicer way than that, but that was it. So we said, how much? He said, $27,000. We said, that's outrageous. We can't afford $27,000. Lo and behold, down the way, J.B. Brown now had 8 units that were all renters, 7 of whom wanted to buy. buy the space. The eighth one, who happened to live at 129 Neal Street, didn't want to. She said, I don't want to buy, I'll move out. Well, guess who were tops of the list for moving in? Da 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 da. We went down and looked. We loved it. We didn't want to pay $27,000 for that, but we were willing to pay $39,500 for 129 Neal Street. So, in 1976, we moved from here down to there.
So Anna was just born. Did she?
Anna was born and was here, but she had, was just born. We went down there. So.
How long were you guys here for?
She was pregnant when we moved down there.
Okay. Yeah. How long were you guys here for?
We were here for about a year and a half. Just about a year and a half. And so when we moved in, we knew, Anna was going to be born. It had 8 bedrooms, 4 on the second floor, 4 on the third. I wasn't a handyman, but I started knocking out walls, figuring what the heck we can do this. Oop, along comes Reed. Put that wall. Oop, along comes Seth. Oop, put that wall. And then put all the walls back, and been there since 1976. The last man standing. And so, at long last, in 1976, this became available. Not a condominium, not a association. We owned from the center wall to the center of that wall, up to there. When we moved in, 8 bedrooms, more than enough room. We knew we'd never have to leave. Didn't think it would leave, but there was a time where we said to all of the kids, hey, we live in the city. Would you ever want to be in the suburbs where you got some grass in the backyard? And you all said, no, we know where the grass is. Our friends are here. So we stayed here. So it's worked out well. I'm the last of the original buyers. Everybody else has either died or moved away. So
when did you pay it off? When was the?
Say again?
What year did you pay the whole thing off?
We paid it off. We paid double. So it was a 30-year mortgage. We paid it off in a little under 15. So I'm going to say it was at least 15 years ago.
Huh.
Yeah.
How many neighbors do you think have come through this whole?
Oh boy. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's it? Since 1972, there's only been 15 neighbors.
Since 19...
oh, that's head of house. That's not kids.
No, kids. Oh, no,
no, not
families.
Kids. Just, families. Yeah.
15 families. Kids, when we first got here, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids when we got in here. And then people get older, people move away. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 kids in the neighborhood, in this row. No, 7. Not bad.
Could make the case 8 if I'm there.
Huh?
Could make the case 8 if I'm included.
It's true.
I am an original.
Yeah, you're a kid. Yeah. So that's it. So this is going to be the last house I'll ever own, I'll tell you.
All right, signing off.
Signing off.